Welcome, gents. Power is quiet. Strength doesn't need a spotlight, and not every leader wants the throne. In a world that praises loud ambition, constant networking, and the spotlight, there's a different kind of man who quietly rewrites the rules. He doesn't need a podium, a crowd, or applause. He moves in silence, thinks independently, and refuses to be shaped by the expectations of others. This man is called a Sigma male, but not in the overused internet meme kind of way. We're talking about real traits, real behavior, and real power. This isn't about being better than anyone, it's about being honest with yourself. Being Sigma isn't about rebellion for the sake of attention, it's about living on your own terms, even when it costs you comfort, popularity, or approval. The Sigma path isn't for everyone. It can be isolating. It demands emotional control, mental discipline, and the courage to walk alone. But if something inside you resonates with that silence, that inner strength, that pull to stand outside the system, then this checklist might feel like looking into a mirror. This video isn't just another personality breakdown, it's a reality check, a challenge, a blueprint for the man who refuses to be defined by noise. Watch it not to label yourself, but to learn something raw and real about the man you already are or could become. You don't need permission to think differently, but sometimes you need a reminder that you're not crazy for doing so. Hit play, count the signs, and see where you really stand. Let's dive into it, gents. Number 1, you've been underestimated so often it became your strategy. Your silence isn't submission, it's recon. People have misread you for years. They saw your quiet nature and assumed you had nothing to say. They mistook your calm for weakness, your stillness for fear, your silence for submission. But little did they know that silence, it was a tactic, a weapon, a lens. You've learned something most people never figure out. Power moves best in silence. While others talk, you listen. While they posture, you observe. You don't jump to prove yourself. You wait, you study people, you catch the lies they think they're hiding. You pick up on patterns, motives, insecurities. You track power dynamics like it's second nature. Because while they're busy putting on a show, you're collecting intel. You don't interrupt. You don't argue, you nod, you watch. And then you strike when it matters most. That's why you're dangerous. You let them think they've got you figured out. You let them underestimate you. Because once someone believes you're not a threat, they drop their guard. And that's when you make your move, with precision. You don't seek attention, you let results speak. You don't need to bark to prove you bite. And by the time they realize you're not quiet because you're weak, but because you're 10 steps ahead, it's already too late. Being underestimated used to annoy you. Now you count on it. It gives you room to maneuver. It gives you the upper hand. While they're looking for loud leaders and showmen, you're working silently, efficiently in the shadows. So no, your silence isn't passive. It's not fear. It's reconnaissance. Every quiet moment is a calculation. Every nod is a measurement. Every pause is preparation. And when the time comes to speak, act, or lead, you do it with impact they never saw coming. That's not just survival, that's strategy, and it works. Every time. Number 2, you're the black hole of social expectations. Everything gets sucked in and nothing comes out. You absorb the pressure to conform, but never release it in your choices. Ever notice how the world around you seems to have a never-ending list of things you should do? You should act a certain way, dress a certain way, even think a certain way. The pressure to fit into some predefined box is constant, whether it's your friends, your family, or society in general. Everyone has an opinion on what's normal or acceptable. But you've learned how to take it all in without letting it shape who you are. You're like a black hole when it comes to these expectations. Everything gets pulled in, absorbed by your awareness, but nothing ever escapes. The constant pressure to conform, to act like everyone else, to follow trends, it doesn't make it past the surface. It's like water off a duck's back. You don't bend to these pressures. You don't allow them to seep into your decisions or how you choose to live. Instead, you take all that noise, all that pressure, and just hold it without reacting. No need to conform, no need to explain yourself. You quietly process it all, and then nothing happens. You don't let these external demands influence your choices. You make your own path, and it's always rooted in what feels true to you, not what's trendy or expected. And here's where it gets powerful. The more you absorb, the less you release. People can try to mold you, but you've got the ability to exist outside their definitions. They can push all the norms, standards, and social pressures your way, but at the end of the day, it's your life. You stay true to yourself no matter what anyone else thinks or expects. In a world that's always pushing, it's your ability to resist and remain authentic that sets you apart. You're not here to fit in, you're here to remain unapologetically you. And that's the kind of quiet power that can't be shaken. Number 3, you've become your own role model. You stopped idolizing others and built the man you needed. There was a time you looked up to people, athletes, artists, leaders, maybe even influencers. You admired their discipline, their strength, their confidence, because something in you wanted that too. But over time, something shifted. You started to see the cracks, the hype, the human flaws behind the perfect images. And one day it hit you. No one's coming to save you. That's when everything changed. You stopped waiting for someone to show you how it's done. You stopped worshipping people who don't know you exist. You took the best pieces of what you respected in others and started building it into yourself. No shortcuts, no pretending. You didn't just dream about the man you wanted to be. You started becoming him. That meant facing your weaknesses head on. It meant setting standards no one was holding you to. It meant getting up on days you didn't feel like it, pushing through when no one was watching, and standing tall even when no one clapped. You became the kind of man your younger self would have looked up to. You didn't need a spotlight. You didn't need a fan club. You needed one thing: self-respect. And that came from doing the hard work in silence, growing where no one saw, and holding yourself to a code you didn't steal from anyone else. Now, you move differently. You don't chase approval. You don't compare. You're not trying to be like anyone else because you've become someone worth admiring to yourself. And that's what really counts. You built a role model from scratch by becoming the man you once wished you had. Not perfect, not flashy, but real, solid, unshakable. And that kind of self-made strength, that can't be copied, only earned. Number 4, as a Sigma man, you could vanish and rebuild your life anywhere. You've thought about it more than once. Detachment is your power, not your flaw. Ever catch yourself looking at a map, a random city, or some quiet town you've never been to and thinking, I could start over there, no drama, no announcement, no trail, just go. Cut the noise, rebuild from scratch, not out of desperation, but out of freedom. That thought doesn't scare you, it calms you. Because deep down, you know something most people don't. You're not tied to any place, title, or identity. You've built yourself from the ground up once, maybe twice, and you could do it again if you had to, or even if you just wanted to. This isn't about running away, it's about knowing you don't need to stay anywhere that no longer feels right. You don't cling to comfort zones, you don't fear change. You know how to let go of people, routines, and even your past. That's not cold, that's control. Most people stay stuck because they're attached to a job, a reputation, a lifestyle that's eating them alive. You stay light, you stay ready. You've thought about cashing out, deleting your socials, packing a bag and just disappearing, not because you're broken, but because the idea of total freedom excites you more than fitting in ever could. That ability to detach, that's your edge. It makes you unshakable. You're not desperate to belong, because you already belong to yourself. You're not addicted to the familiar because you're fluent in uncertainty. And while others panic at the thought of losing it all, you know you could lose everything today, and by tomorrow you'd be rebuilding quietly, brick by brick, better than before. If you've ever felt that quiet pull to disappear and rise again, keep watching. You're not lost, you're just built for something different. Number 5, you've turned down opportunities because they required compromise. The price of your soul isn't up for negotiation. Some doors stay shut by choice. This one stings a bit, for the world, not for you, because while most people chase every opportunity thrown their way, you've learned something most never do. Not every offer is worth saying yes to. You've been in situations where the paycheck was fat, the perks looked shiny, or the deal sounded too good to pass up. But deep down, something didn't sit right. Maybe it clashed with your values. Maybe it asked you to fake it. Maybe it meant giving up a piece of who you are just to get ahead. So you did something rare. You walked away. Not because you're lazy, not because you're scared, but because you've made a quiet decision in life. Your integrity isn't for sale. And in a world that rewards compromise disguised as opportunity, that makes you dangerous in the best way, people might call you stubborn or foolish or say you're missing out. But what they don't see is what you're protecting. Your peace, your freedom, your sense of self. You don't just want to win, you want to win on your own terms. And if that means shutting doors, burning bridges, or saying no to shortcuts, so be it. Because the moment you sell out once, it becomes easier to do it again, and you know better. You know how easy it is to lose yourself while chasing something that never really mattered in the first place. So instead of forcing open every door, you've learned to trust your gut and sometimes close the door yourself. That's not weakness. That's strength most people don't have. If this point hit home, the next few might just feel like a mirror. Number 6, you're allergic to hierarchy even if you're at the top. Being in charge doesn't excite you, being free does. You lead when necessary, vanish when not. This hits different when it's true. You're not the kind of man who dreams about being the boss just to boss people around. Titles don't impress you. Power doesn't tempt you. Control? You don't need it. Because deep down, what you crave isn't status, it's freedom. You don't want to rule over people. You want space to move, think, and be without anyone trying to cage you in. Traditional structures, corporate ladders, group pecking orders, social cliques, they all feel off to you. Not because you can't rise through them, you can, but because playing those games feels fake, draining, small. You'd rather walk your own path through the jungle than climb a polished staircase built by someone else. And yes, sometimes you lead. But not because you want the spotlight. You lead because no one else knows what the hell they're doing, and someone has to take control. So you step up, handle business, and when the job is done, you disappear. No need for praise, no need to stick around and bask in the credit. You're already on to the next mission, or back in your own world where things make more sense. You see, for a Sigma, leadership isn't about dominance, it's about necessity. You're not trying to control others, you're trying to avoid being controlled. You thrive where there's space, not structure. You follow your own code, your own compass, and your respect isn't earned by rank. It's earned by action. So if you've ever walked away from a promotion just to keep your peace, or turned down power because it came with strings, you're not crazy, you're just built different. You'll start to see yourself more clearly with every point. Number 7, your peace is your currency, and most people can't afford your presence. If they cost your clarity, they can't stay. You've reached a point in life where peace isn't just something you want, it's something you protect. Ruthlessly. The older you get, the clearer it becomes. Peace is expensive, and not everyone deserves to be in your space if the price is your clarity, your energy, or your sanity. You've been around enough chaos to know what it costs. The drama, the fake friendships, the people who drain you with their constant need for attention or validation, it all chips away at your calm. And that calm, it's not just comfort, it's your foundation, your power base. When your mind is clear, you're sharp. You're dangerous in the best way. You move with purpose. You don't waste time. You build, you grow, you win. So now you don't let just anyone in. You don't hand out access like candy. Your presence is earned, not owed. And if someone brings noise, confusion, or emotional mess into your life, you walk. No guilt, no explanations, just a quiet exit and a locked door. This isn't about being cold. It's about being clean. Clean in your thoughts, your decisions, your space. You've stopped trying to fix people who don't want to change. You've stopped dimming your light to make others comfortable. Because if someone costs you your peace, they're too expensive. Most people aren't used to boundaries this strong. They'll call you distant, cold, or too serious. Let them. You know the truth. Protecting your peace is how you protect everything. Your focus, your growth, your future. And the ones who truly value you, they won't try to disturb your calm. They'll respect it. Because they'll see what you already know. Your peace isn't up for negotiation. It's your standard, and it's non-refundable. Number 8, you feel more powerful when unseen. You're not hiding, you're conserving energy. You don't seek attention because mystery gives you leverage. Let's break that down. Some guys need to be seen to feel alive. They need to be noticed, heard, liked, validated. Every room they enter is another stage to perform on. But you're different. You're the one in the corner watching everything, saying little but knowing exactly what's going on, and that's not weakness. That's strategy. You're not quiet because you have nothing to say. You're quiet because you're always calculating, always conserving, always choosing your moments. You don't spill your energy just to be included. You don't entertain just to belong. You figured out that being invisible sometimes gives you more power than being in the spotlight ever could. When no one sees you coming, they can't block you. When people don't know your next move, they can't control it. You move like smoke, unpredictable, untouchable, and impossible to pin down. That's not hiding, that's precision. The truth is, attention is a currency most people overspend. They chase likes, followers, applause. But you've learned that real influence comes from what people don't know about you. Your silence makes them wonder. Your absence makes them think. Your mystery becomes your armor. So no, you're not antisocial. You're not closed off. You're not afraid to shine. You just don't shine for the sake of it. You light up only when it matters, and when you do, people notice. Not because you asked them to, but because you earned it. That's power. Quiet, calm, unshakable. And if you've ever felt that deep, unexplainable strength when you're operating in the background, congratulations. You already speak the language of Sigma. Now keep watching, because this checklist is just getting started. Number 9, you get more out of a night alone than a night out. Inner peace is your drug. Social highs are temporary distractions. Let's talk about something most people won't admit. Being alone feels better than being surrounded by people you can't connect with. While others are chasing parties, loud music, fake laughs, and group selfies, you're at home in silence, and honestly, you wouldn't trade it for anything. You've tried the social scene, you've gone out, played along, smiled at all the right moments, and sure, there were some fun nights, but deep down it always felt temporary, surface level, like something was missing. Because for you, being around people just to avoid being alone isn't your style. When you're by yourself, something powerful happens. Your mind clears. Your energy resets. You think deeper. You feel more. You might read, build, create, or just sit in stillness. And somehow, it feeds your soul in a way no crowd ever could. That's not loneliness. That's alignment. You don't need external noise to feel alive. You don't need validation from a room full of strangers. Your high comes from peace, from focus, from knowing yourself better every day. You walk into Monday sharper, not because of a wild weekend, but because you spent Sunday night recharging while the world was burning itself out. That's the difference. Social highs fade by morning, but inner peace, that stays with you. It makes you stronger, clearer, harder to shake. And no, it doesn't mean you hate people. It means you value your time, your energy, and your mind too much to waste it on empty conversations and forced fun. So if you've ever chosen quiet over chaos or deep rest over shallow noise, you're not weird, you're in tune. And that's something most people won't understand until they burn out chasing distractions. Just know this path you're on, it's rare, but it's real, and you're not alone. Number 10, you don't chase purpose, you create it. You're not looking for some external mission. You define your own game and play it with ruthless intent. Most people spend their lives searching for a purpose, trying to find that one thing they're meant to do. They look for signs, wait for a calling, or follow the paths others lay out for them. But you've learned that purpose isn't something you find, it's something you make. You're not sitting around hoping someone will hand you the meaning of your life. You've realized that you're the author of your own story. You decide what's important. You set your own rules, even if they don't fit into anyone else's idea of success. Whether it's business, personal growth, or just the way you choose to live, your purpose is self-made, shaped by your actions and your vision, not some outside force. This doesn't mean you're reckless or blindly ambitious. No, you're methodical, calculated. You're the kind of person who wakes up every day knowing exactly what the goal is, even if no one else does. You don't need validation. You don't need someone telling you what to do. You create your own momentum, and once it starts, there's no stopping you. You play by your own rules, not the world's. And when things get tough, you don't ask, why me? You ask, how do I make this work? There's no waiting for inspiration. You know that the grind, the real grind, comes from within. No one else can define your purpose for you. It's your life, your choices, and you're in the driver's seat, steering with relentless focus. What most people see as luck or chance, you see as strategy and decision-making. You're not a passenger in life. You're the one calling the shots unapologetically. You're not out here to fit into the world's expectations. You're here to redefine the game. And that's power. Number 11. You experience burnout from faking normal. Pretending to care about office politics or pop culture is exhausting. You crave realness or solitude. Let's be real. Some days, just existing in the world feels like acting in a bad play. You nod at the right times, force small talk, laugh at things that aren't funny, and pretend to care about conversations that make your brain want to shut down. And by the end of the day, you're drained. Not from doing too much, but from pretending to care about things that don't matter to you. That's the quiet struggle of someone who thinks deeply, feels deeply, and sees through the surface-level nonsense most people treat as normal. Office politics? You see right through the fake smiles and subtle power games. Gossip and celebrity drama feels like background noise. Groupthink and fake enthusiasm, that's not your language. You're not rude, you're not antisocial. You just can't keep pretending that shallow equals interesting. You crave realness. Conversations that go somewhere, people who mean what they say, silence that isn't awkward. And when you can't find it, you disappear. Not to escape, but to recharge. Because solitude gives you something the world rarely does: honesty. Here's the truth. Faking normal doesn't make you weak, it makes you aware. It means you've woken up. You've realized the difference between fitting in and selling out. And now, you're tired of the mask. That exhaustion you feel? That's not burnout from work, it's burnout from pretending you don't care when you do, and pretending you do care when you don't. So if you'd rather be alone with your thoughts than stuck in a room full of noise, good. That's not dysfunction, that's clarity. The more you recognize this pattern, the more you'll understand the power of standing apart. In final words, conclusion, Sigma male's checklist. How many do you have? Here's the truth. This isn't about fitting into a label. It's not about ticking boxes so you can say, yeah, I'm one of them. The Sigma mindset isn't a badge. It's a way of living that most people will never fully understand because it doesn't seek validation, attention, or applause. It's about being self-directed in a world that demands obedience. It's about trusting your instincts more than you trust the crowd. It's about mastering solitude without losing your warmth. And yes, it's about building a life so solid, so internally anchored that nothing outside of you can shake it. If you recognized yourself in even a few of these traits, it's not because you're trying to be something, it's because you already are. You've been walking this path, quietly, maybe even unknowingly, but deliberately. And while the world may never throw you a parade for it, you don't need one, you live it. But here's the encouragement. Don't water yourself down to be more relatable. Don't shrink your depth just because shallow minds find it intimidating. And don't doubt your path simply because it's different. The right people will feel you even if they never fully understand you. So how many do you have? Enough. Enough to know who you are, what you value, and what you refuse to become. Stay grounded, stay sharp. And above all, stay you. That's the real checklist, and you're already living it. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.